What's up, everybody? Welcome to Shane Confectionery. Hi to everybody out there that's checking us out on the Stay Home with Chocolate Festival. Big shout out to everybody that helped put that together. Big thanks to the folks at Uncommon Cacao and everybody at the festival for putting that together. It's really a much needed reprieve from all of the insanity of the last couple of weeks. But you're joining us here at Shane Confectionery, America's oldest continuously operated candy store. Pause due to poor connection. Oh, we're back. And we're back. Hello. Welcome back to Shane Confectionery. I'm going to flip the camera around right now. And I'm actually going to take it outside. I think we're back now. Welcome to Market Street, Philadelphia. And the exterior of Shane Confectionery, America's oldest continuously operated candy store. I'm standing in the middle of the street right now because, as you can see, there's no traffic. Shane has been here since 1863. As you can see, our display windows are currently done up in this really cool natural history motif. This is our resident friend and chocolate packer. And we're standing on Market Street, and down there you can see the Delaware River. And you can see a little bit of I-95 down there. And before 95 was built, the river there was lined with a bunch of sugar refineries and cocoa ports. And the cocoa ports were responsible for Philadelphia kind of being this confectionery mecca in its day. So Shane, at the time when it was open, was one of a number of confectioneries that all kind of lined Market Street here. And out here is a friend of ours. Saying video is paused. Okay. I think so. Yeah, it's paused. Keep going. All right, I'm going to start over because it seems like maybe we had some technical difficulties there in the beginning. You're joining us from the interior of Shane Confectionery. I was just out on Market Street just kind of trying to show you a little bit of the river and the kind of set the scene here for you. We're down at the end of Market Street, close to the river, where a lot of cocoa ports in the Philadelphia area were and sort of are still. Philadelphia's still a pretty massive cocoa port. And but now we're inside. And like I said, Shane has been here since 1863. It's the oldest continuously operated candy store in North America. We sort of straddle the line between being a historic candy store and also a craft chocolate manufacturing facility. So I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. But I just kind of wanted to point out a few features of the store. As you can see, the interior of the store right here is lined with a bunch of shipping boxes. And these are orders that are being packed, ready to go out. Obviously, if we were open for business, this would not be the case. We wouldn't have a whole bunch of tables lined up with shipping orders all and whatnot. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and we, like a number of other craft chocolate manufacturers and confectioneries across the country, are currently closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we wish our best to everybody out there that's struggling with this just like we are. And I just kind of want to show you a couple things here in the store. Original tin ceiling, original to the building. Original floors, live wood floors, the cabinetry, all original, all redone, restored to its original 1911 glory. The store front opened in 1911 when the Shane family purchased the business. But prior to that, it was a wholesale confectionery. And as you can see on the left side of the store here, this is sort of the candy side, penny candy. And then on the right side would be the chocolate side of the store. The cases are a little dry right now, being that we're kind of packing our entire business that otherwise would have been in store has all been kind of transferred to this online business right now. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. I'm sure a lot of chocolate makers are kind of in the same boat. The light fixtures here, these are original to the time that the store opened. These are called gasoliers. They would have accommodated both gas and electricity. Artificial light is super important for confectioners, especially down our end of Market Street. It tends to get dark pretty early in the winter when it's our, busiest time of the year. And in the early 20th century, when this place was built, the electrical grid was pretty unreliable. So if the lights went out, the arms could flip up to receive gas. I want to show you these national cash registers over here. These are pretty cool. These date to 1910. Here's one, and here's the other. We still use those for cash transactions. Let me pop one open here real quick. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit no sale. Ignore all the notes. There she goes. The scales, also original to the building. And the marble. Actually, I'll show you the marble in the back because I actually like that marble a little bit better. The marble in the back, we're now entering our chocolate cafe, where we make drinking chocolates from the craft chocolate that we make in the back. Again, please ignore the state of disarray that the shop is in right now. We're doing our best to keep up with online sales, and we've kind of moved our entire shipping department into the store proper. Now we're in our chocolate cafe, where all the craft chocolate that we make in the back is turned into drinking chocolates, historically minded drinking chocolates. So when we first opened the chocolate cafe as an extension of Shane, the idea was we were going to try to trace the history of cacao as a beverage and try to highlight the fact that for, 9/10 of chocolate's history, it was in fact consumed as a beverage. So we kind of came up with this menu of historically inspired drinking chocolates, doing our best to try to trace the lineage of chocolate as it moved around the world, and different cultures kind of shaped it and suited it to their taste and whatnot. That right there is the chocolate girl. You may recognize her from the Walter Baker Company. Used to use her as their logo, mascot sort of. It's another national brand cash register. This one's actually a little bit newer. You can tell it's newer because this one goes up to $2 whole, whereas the ones up in the front only go up to $1. Some various other artifacts in here. This is from the Hershey Museum. This is kind of this interesting little poster. This sort of shows cacao and sort of the trade routes and whatnot. I'll show you the elevator once we get upstairs, but this is actually the ground floor door to the elevator. This is a hand crank elevator that holds up to 500 pounds. We use it to move equipment, cocoa, sugar, things like that up and down between the basement and the second floor. I'll quickly take you through our bean to bar chocolate production space, which is in the very back of the store. Sad to say that right now everything is shut down. Normally all these machines would be whirring and whatnot, but our refining equipment is all named after Kardashians. That's Kim. Over here's Chloe. Little guy's Rob. And that's Courtney. And of course the warming cabinet is Chris, because she's the mama. So yeah, it's unfortunately pretty silent back here right now. Normally all these machines would be buzzing with activity. We'd be, cranking out chocolate and whatnot, but this is the sad state of affairs that we live in right now. I mentioned the King of Prussia marble a minute ago. There's not a whole lot of it that's visible at the moment, I'm realizing, because we're all kind of covered up in orders, but I'll show you some more upstairs. The King of Prussia marble was quarried locally when the King of Prussia Mall was built. Any folks that are local to Philadelphia will know that the King of Prussia Mall is actually built on a giant sinkhole, and a lot of the marble deposits underneath form some of the architectural elements of a lot of 19th century buildings in the area. The back bar here came out of a pharmacy called Baumberger's. That one and the one over here. Not original to the building, but certainly original to the period. I'm going to take you upstairs now. The stairs are very steep, so please watch your step as you traverse them. You'll notice here, you're going to be like, oh man, look how dirty those stairs are, but I want to show you something. If you look really closely, that stuff that looks like dirt down there, that's actually ground up black walnut shells. And that's pretty unique, and that actually gives these stairs their unique tread. They were pressed into the finish when these stairs were built. And over the years, every so often, we try to refinish them and put new black walnut shells, but it's pretty cool to actually give them like a nice little tread there. So we're heading up the stairs now. Shane has sort of three different kitchens. There's the one that we just went through, our craft chocolate production space. This second floor kitchen is the bulk of production for our sister business, the Franklin Fountain. The Franklin Fountain's our ice cream shop on the corner. And most of the ice cream bases, toppings, baked goods and whatnot are produced up here. And there's also a good deal of sugar work that's done up here, as referenced by the Thomas Mills Brothers candy stoves here. I'm sorry, Savage Brothers, my mistake. And our Savage Brothers fire mixer that we use to make things like fudge, copper kettles and whatnot. Perhaps the most striking element of our second floor kitchen is our Clear Toy candy catalog. So all of this, every one of these drawers is a Clear Toy candy mold. Clear Toy candy is something that Shane is kind of known for. We're one of the only shops in the Philadelphia area, or really all over the country, that still does it. And if you're not familiar, basically, Clear Toy is cooked sugar molded into intricate shapes in these metal molds. So like you can see on each one of these, they're labeled very specifically: objects, vehicles, locomotives, Jackson. There's people, children. People, supernatural. Let's see what's in this one. I'm actually not even sure. Supernatural B. Oh, of course, it's a little demon. He might actually be Krampus, I'm not sure. And then some tiny little ones too. Little tiny demons. Some witches. We could spend all day going through this thing. We have a whole lot of like presidential busts as well. But these get used sort of seasonally. I mean, we make Clear Toy throughout the year, but obviously the big seasons are Christmas and Easter. And we have a shape for just about everything. Most of these shapes came out of a confectionery that used to be in Brewery Town, Philadelphia. Here's a frog on a bike. And they're pretty cool. Basically, the molds sort of snap together. Here, I'm gonna set the phone down for a second so I can set one up. Okay, our confectioner there is telling me that that last mold that I just looked at was Krampus. Okay, that's good. So the mold sort of snaps together like this, and then hot molten sugar is poured in, allowed to cool, and then pulled apart, and the imprint is left. I mentioned King of Prussia marble before. Here's another example of King of Prussia marble, quarried locally. These are our waffle cone bakers. These make all the waffle cones that you enjoy at the Franklin Fountain. I want to take you back here. We'll take a look at the Buttercream machine real quick. The Buttercreamer is powered by a 1940s General Electric motor. This is what we use to crystallize buttercream fondant. So basically, sugar is cooked over there on one of those big stoves, transferred over here. Two people have to bring one of those copper pots over, and placed on the Buttercreamer. And then we start it up. And the sugar is agitated and rapidly cooled so that it crystallizes, shortens up, and then we can form it into buttercream centers, which is really, assuming we were open right now, any other normal Easter season, we'd be in full production with buttercream. We'd be making eggs and whatnot. We already made the vast majority of those eggs, and they're all for sale on our website. Now I'll take you upstairs, and I'm gonna grab one thing over here, and then I'll take you upstairs and we'll have a look at some of the stuff on the third floor. So again, this kitchen is really primarily for Franklin Fountain production with a little bit of Shane production. The third floor kitchen that I'm about to take you up to is the primary spot where Shane Confectionery chocolate work takes place. Welcome to the third floor. The Czar enrobing line. The enrober was built in 1965, and it is super long. The bottom are down here. It's kind of the beginning of the line. Curtain in here. And then all the way down into this other room. Remember I was telling you about all those eggs? To the output over here. So this thing spans 2 full rooms. It is crazy long and it requires many, many people to operate. Automatic tempering machines, antique molds. These are for chocolate. The ones downstairs were mostly for sugar, but antique chocolate molds, some of which are still in production, or rather we still use for production, I should say. The frogs are my favorite. We do them at Halloween. Oh, and there's this terrifying baby too. He is nothing short of freakish. It's Carmela's dipping table. Older folks that come into the shop tell us a lot about Carmela. It was a woman that worked for Barry Shane, one of the previous owners. Carmela was a woman who worked at Whitman's at 12th and Market in the 1920s, and then she came to Shane in the 50s. And then at this table, she sat in the back of the shop and she dipped chocolates from then until her death in the 90s. And older customers often remember her coming in and telling tales about her times at Whitman's and giving out samples of chocolate. But this was her table. I'm gonna take you back downstairs real quick because I want to show you one thing that I did forget to mention when we were down there that is kind of a super cool element of this historic building. And when we were on the first floor, I did mention the elevator. Well, this is the elevator. Ignore the recycling bin that's in there right now, but basically, this elevator runs between the basement and this second floor that we're currently on and holds up to 500 pounds of freight. And it's a hand crank elevator. So you see the gear mechanism up there, and then this even bigger gear mechanism back here. And in order to raise and lower it, you pull this rope, which goes through the floor and down into the basement to another gear set down in the basement. It's counterweighted up there. Every so often the rope comes off the gear there and we have to reattach it. Year-round frogs like Harry Potter. You know, this was an idea I had a while ago. I wanted to do the chocolate frogs with famous confectioner cards, like the wizard cards in Harry Potter, but we would put like, you know, famous dead confectioners. So like I said, most of the production that happens up here is ice cream related, but every so often we do some chocolate work up here, and these marble tables are perfect for chocolate and sugar work. We do a lot of tabling up here and whatnot. This metal table can actually be cooled by water running through it. Springless Toledo scale. This thing advertises no springs because theoretically the principle is based on the idea that the springs aren't going to wear out and eventually you won't have to recalibrate this thing. This is our taffy hook over here. I mentioned Thomas Mills Brothers earlier. I was mistaken in saying that those stoves are Thomas Mills. They're actually Savage Brothers in Illinois, but this is a Philadelphia-made Thomas Mills Brothers taffy hook. And this is kind of the old-fashioned way of pulling taffy. You know how when you're down the shore and you see those machines and they're spinning and they're pulling taffy and whatnot? That's the mechanized version of what this thing does. So basically you would cook sugar, drape it across this taffy hook, and then pull it by hand to stretch it, aerate it, and create that taffy texture. And it comes off the wall for easy cleaning. Somebody's asking what's in the drawers. The drawers are molds. Yep, you got it. The drawers are clear toy candy molds for molded sugar shapes. Well, that just about does it for us. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour. Again, we're Shane Confectionery in Philadelphia, and we, like many other craft chocolate makers, confectioneries, and folks in the chocolate and cacao industry, have been affected by this pandemic, and we're doing our best to get through one day at a time here. But all of our products are available on our website, shanecandies.com, and all of this stuff that we worked so hard on for Easter is available there, as well as all of our craft chocolate bars. We hope you'll check us out on the internet. Give us a like on Facebook, Instagram, Stay healthy out there. And thanks again so much for joining us. This has been Shane Confectionery, signing off.